Trade resuming. Give us an indication of what was driving markets, because we were down just over 1%. On Wednesday, we were down about 0.5%.
Well, the markets open today really just continuing along the path of where they traded last week. Really, everyone's just really lost their interest in risk, and the word on the street is sell, get me out of these positions.
Yeah. Well, as I mentioned, some companies suspended last week because they did not submit their financial reports on time. 15 companies suspended, 28 others failed to also, of course, submit, and they are just being frozen in terms of price movements. Your view on this? Do you think it added more concerns when it comes to trading on the equity market, or do you think it's going to filter out the companies that need to start complying?
Well, in terms of its impact on market sentiment and trading, I think our position is that it had little. This was more housekeeping. A bulk of the companies that were suspended were companies that have limited trading, limited revenues, and just companies with minimal operations. In terms of market cap, the companies that went on the full suspension were less than 5% really of the entire market cap. I think what this really does do, though, is the stock exchange finally brings out the big whip to say, you know what, you really have to comply with disclosure on time, and as you should do for public companies.
Olutosin, we also heard news coming through for the banking sector today. Nigeria is going to stop issuing universal banking licenses over the next month. This, of course, to enforce new minimum capital requirements for lenders, and, of course, to avoid a repeat of what happened last year when it came to the banking sector. Do you think that is going to be net positive?
Absolutely, I think, but more in the medium term. I think in the short term, what we're more likely to see is just general volatility in terms of trading of bank stocks. Investors will want to wait and see, and are uncertain as to how to position, just because you're not quite sure of the strategy many of these banks will play. But in the medium to long term, what we're going to see is more rationalization in terms of the market structure. Banks will instead of just pursuing a one-size-fits-all, being everything and all to everyone, it will require banks to focus on niche markets and products that will benefit the consumer.
We've had a bit of corporate news out today as well. Con Oil, pre-tax profit rose about 15% to 3.78 billion naira. Could you touch on that slightly? And then also, if you could give us an update on Chevron as well. This company also came out with a trading update, and it says that its pre-tax profit is expected to reach about 2.45 billion naira.
Well, the petroleum marketing sector is really interesting of late. The federal government sovereign notes that the federal government has agreed to issue to back and support importation of petrol is going to really help this industry. However, what we've seen in the last week or so is actually a sell-off in this sector, but that's really allied to the general market sentiment. We don't really see these numbers, these updates, materially impacting the direction of trading for these stocks.